Welcome to Ashes and Roses, the podcast.
A millennial review of entrepreneurship.
We're your hosts. I'm Junie.
And I'm Ashley. We'll be sharing with you an honest review of our trials and triumphs in business.
The Ashes and the Roses.
On season 2, we'll be inviting other entrepreneurs to share their journey as well.
Join us every Wednesday on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
And as always, we'll be keeping it real,
raw, and revolutionary. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Ashes and Roses.
Hey everyone.
The podcast. It's season 2. It's so exciting. We are back to challenge the industry.
Yes.
And today we got a pretty big industry that we're coming for.
Yeah.
We're coming for big industry, finance industry. And of course, you guys know season 2, we have a lot of great entrepreneurs who are doing the work, not just, in Columbus, but, worldwide, statewide, doing the work. And we have someone today in the finance industry. I'm so excited to really have this conversation with you. I'm going to let my friend Ashley here introduce you to our audience.
All right, guys. So our guest today is a very special guest. He's actually really passionate about financing, specifically trading, which I'm going to have to talk to you after this, friend. He also, through his work, has studied individuals like you've kind of studied their patterns and seen how money, how they're attached to money and how it impacts the outcomes of their lives. With this passion, he also enjoys educating others on how to become financially responsible and how to achieve their goals. Throughout all of your experience, you are now an owner of a investment group called, can you pronounce?
Yeah, so the investment group is Vestein Investment
Group. Okay. And then not only that, he owns an early childhood educational school in Ghana.
Yeah, in Ghana.
So we have a lot of questions about that. And then most recently, you've started a project called KaiFlex, which I want you to talk a little bit more about in the guest host segment. So yes, without further ado, welcome Joshua Kumi.
Yes.
And she did forget one part. We were in high school together. So we go back almost 10 years.
Wow.
Actually more. Would it be like 14? Because there's 4 years of high school. But anyway, welcome, Josh.
No, thank you guys.
Welcome to Ashes and Roses.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And great to sort of talk to you guys about the finance industry.
Yes.
Yeah. And we definitely appreciate. It's been exciting, like all of the industries that we have on tap for this season. It's been exciting. Like everyone is just so ready to talk about their industry and talk about what they're doing. So it's been fun. It's been interesting, but we'll get into that.
And the timing is good. I feel like this is a good time for us to be challenging our industries and asking for change, learning and seeing what entrepreneurs are actually doing within their industry. So I kind of can't wait to learn more. But Josh, if you've been watching our show, you should know by now that we start off our podcast with the thought of the day. And so Junie, what is your thought of the day?
My thought of the day. It's so interesting because it's like whenever the thought of the day segment comes, I'm like, okay, a lot of my thoughts are contradicting. So I can never remember what I've said before.
That's that Libra.
I can never remember what I've said before. So like, I don't know if I'm saying something that's contradictory, but I know before on a episode I said that I'm always thinking. You remember that?
Yeah.
So my thought of the day is like, I really have no real thought.
Okay.
No, seriously, because I've been trying to stop thinking all the time and really just be here in the moment. So I guess my thought of the day is that I'm trying to be more present and less in my thoughts.
So what has that experience been like? What are your observations in being more present?
I'm not missing much, but terrible. But no, what I would say is that, it's just like being more mindful of the memories, especially like this year, especially in 2020, like we don't know what the next hour will bring, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just taught me to be like, okay, let me create situations where my presentness, me being present, will be worth something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if it's a situation like this, I want to be present here because this is content that we're putting out. This is a memory that I'm making. This is fun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Versus like if it's just we all just watching TV.
And if you really think about it, I mean, this is going to be history. Like I know. Yeah. I mean, this is during COVID-19 times. I feel like I could picture, kids in the future trying to do research on what happened and business and,
and I hope they come across these episodes. You know what I mean?
I mean, just even, our future children, if you decide to have kids, but even our future children, I just feel like this is very interesting information to know, like, especially during these times.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's cool. My thought.
Nice thought.
Thanks.
So,
what's your thought?
My thought of the day?
Yeah.
Oh, I was actually gonna ask Josh.
I'm giving Josh some time to prepare. You know.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? If you're ready, you could go.
Thought of the day.
Yeah.
I think recently what I've been sort of thinking about it's just like you were saying, being more present, and I think as beings we're oftentimes distracted a lot, and I think it's important to always stay present and not let distractions sort of take you away from the moment that you're experiencing. And I think COVID has sort of helped us see that, what's important is this moment. Because you don't know that tomorrow you can catch COVID or something bad. Right. Right? So you always want to stay present. I think we're always chasing the future, but the future is always, I think the future is the present. So staying present, keeps you going.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's true.
And, I think that the cool thing about being present is that, or the easiest way to stay present is to try your best to have something to be grateful for every day, because then it's like you have to look, okay, what am I grateful for today? Like, and when you're more present, that's when you kind of, the other day I was like, oh my goodness, that flower is so beautiful. Like, just looking at a flower. And so I had to be present in that moment for me to really acknowledge how beautiful flowers are.
The flower was.
Yeah. Something that simple. So nice. Thank you for sharing your thought. My thought of the day is a little bit more, I don't know.
Raunchy?
Not necessarily. I guess it's not really controversial, but it's not on the mindfulness like you guys. But I actually been reading this book that was recommended to me, Start With Why, by Simon. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is it Sinek?
I don't know.
Simon Sinek, I think.
I know the book you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's a really good book. I recommend it to entrepreneurs. It's talking about, like, in order for you to start your business, like, you have to start with why. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. And I feel like it's really appropriate for, that thought is really appropriate for just the season. While we're talking about corporations and why do they exist, and I think some corporations forgetting why they exist. But this particular chapter was talking about Southwest Airlines, which is actually my favorite airline.
I know exactly which part you're talking about. I love Southwest.
So apparently Southwest Airlines, they originally came around. Have you read the book?
No.
Okay. So they originally came around for the average person, for the regular, because back in the day, flying was something rich people did. You know what I mean? Just like private jets, that's something rich people do. You know what I mean? So flying was something that wasn't common for the average person. So Southwest, had lower prices, and their whole why was to make flying for the average person. It sounded better than what I'm saying, but long story short, so the other airlines, Southwest started to grow and become so good and has been very consistent with, keeping their customers and growing. And so other airlines are trying to copy what Southwest is doing. And they were never able to be successful because at the end of the day, Southwest had a why. Their reason was for the person, right? And the other airlines, their reason was for money. Their reason was to get that coin. So So they all failed. And so that story by itself, the quote that I left with was that no one can execute your vision but you. So I've kind of been thinking about that a lot lately.
That's a quote and a thought of the day, like
Bam.
at the same time.
Bam. Okay. 2 in 1. But I do actually have another quote though, for the end. But yeah, so I love that quote because it makes me realize, I don't really have competition in what I'm doing, because I know what my vision is, and with my vision, no one can really execute it but me, the way that I wanted to see it executed. You know what I mean? And that thought went into bringing it into present times. Google, Facebook, and Amazon
have forgotten their whys.
Not only have they forgotten their whys, they, I guess, recently were, having to come present in front of, Congress? Because pretty much fighting their case because, they're being accused of a lot of things, stealing people's data. And amongst all those things that they're being accused of, one of the things is like they're being accused of stealing business ideas. So they are Facebook particularly, I guess, was called out for called out for allegedly, because I don't know.
We don't want no lawsuits over here.
I'm not a lawyer, but but yeah, so they allegedly I guess like there was like an app that was out, and they threatened the app like, hey, if you don't let us buy you for this price, we're just going to recreate it and your app is just going to be, out of here. And I feel like that's messed up. They're a big bully. But pretty much it's like they're being called out for doing like monopoly type things. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. That's what's happening now.
I feel like we've talked about that in one of our episodes before too. We didn't really go like the whole Facebook and like how they're just monopolizing
over
their industries. Yeah,
we've talked about it before in the past for sure. But yeah, so I just thought it was interesting that there are businesses that are actively trying to copy, and they're gonna fail every time. I mean, we see Facebook and Instagram. Well, Facebook is Instagram now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But we see them copying like other social media things or whatever. But it gives me hope. That book gave me hope that, it doesn't matter. Like your vision, no one can take it from you. So yeah, that's my thought of the day.
No one can take it from you.
Yeah.
And if they do come looking, if the price tag is big enough, listen, you can have any dream of mine. Listen.
So you gonna let Mark?
My dream is
Mark
to
know.
chill.
Mark, you hear her?
So if you can fund that for me, is not a problem.
Of course, Junie. Of course.
Listen. That's my goal is to wake up on a farm and just
be chilling.
Right. Yeah.
So as long as we get the royalties, we're good.
I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool thought of the day.
All right. So now next we're gonna go into our guest host segment. So this is a new segment for us this season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any sound effects or anything like that.
No,
okay?
You're fine.
So usually what I do is when I don't have a sound effect, because for the longest I didn't have a sound effect for my segment, I just press a random button.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to pick what button?
And you got to match the energy of whatever sound effect.
Oh wow. All right.
Please.
The purple.
The purple button.
That's mine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it?
No, it's not. Crickets.
Aww.
Oh wow.
I hope you don't match that energy.
Nah,
We're gonna need you to
Yeah,
talk.
you're gonna have to come about.
You have a lot to talk about anyway.
I think my energy's
No, like after his segment, after he talks, and it's just like crickets.
I should have went with the blue.
Yeah, you should have went with the blue. But it's all good.
We're gonna do the crickets. It's all right.
Yeah. So tell us about you, Josh. Tell us who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, and where people can find you on social media.
All right. So like Junie said, we went to high school together. So Vikings. I mean, if there's any Vikings that are listening, you got 2 Viking grads here.
Yes.
So I went
public school. Okay, we are okay. We are products of public school. Yeah. Everybody.
True. So
Columbus City Schools.
I said public. You didn't have to shoot it out.
Hey, Columbus City Schools. If you focus, you can get somewhere.
Right. If you just Focus on yourself. Focus on your dreams. Dang, we really talking.
But that's where I started. You know, I went through elementary, middle, high, all public school, and then from there I went to Denison University for undergraduate, studied economics and international relations. So that's where I sort of got this idea about understanding people and learning how economics affects different communities and the power of money, and how all of us sort of have this, I would say, unhealthy relationship with money. A lot of people sort of, you know, you see in the economy that even currently, right, people are wanting to go back to work because they don't have enough money to take care of themselves, take care of their family. So you see that people over the time, we have allowed money to become more important than human relationships, have become more important than even human life, right? So I think for me that always interested me, right? And I also did a Black Study minor, so I was very fixated on why is the Black community not prospering as much as other communities, and what is the disconnect there, right? So that interest of mine sort of led me to the financial field, where I was like, you know, a lot of my white buddies here, they're pretty well off. You know, one of my white buddies, he was getting like a $5,000 check each month from his residuals from some of his companies that he's invested in stocks and stuff. And then some of them, their parents are sending them money. I'm like,
hold on, go back and define residuals for some people who may not,
know what that
is.
Sort of money you get. So it's like dividends, right? So dividends are money that companies pay out to you for holding their stock.
Okay.
Right. So if you hold, now you get different amounts based on how much money that you're investing. So if you're investing like $500, you're not gonna get. If the dividends are like 2% or 5%, you're not gonna get that much money. But these people had money, so their parents had been investing in with different corporations for a long period of time, and that intrigued me because my parents, my mom is a preschool teacher, and then my dad, you know, cleans different companies. So he's a cleaner. So I didn't grow up in money. I barely understood how money worked. But once I got to college, started to interact with people that had money. I wanted to figure out, hey, how do I get some money? How do I become wealthy and be able to live without needing a job? That was sort of my goal, my end goal at the end of the day. I was like, it's cool to have a job, but I wasn't passionate enough about anything else to really like want to invest
your time,
40 hours a week.
You know what? It's not 40 hours. That's the lie. That is the lie. If you are in high school, corporate America does not work you from 9 to 5. They work you from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. What do you mean? They come from sun up to sundown. Before the sun come up to when the sun goes down.
And
that's when you're at work.
Weekends.
Yeah, and that's what I realized once I got out of school and I was working. I was working at Nationwide for a little bit, and I worked at U.S. Bank for a little bit. And sometimes I'd be in the office till like 7, 8 p.m. I'm like,
that's
and I come in like 7 a.m.
Yeah,
so unbelievable.
That's 12 hours.
Yeah, it's still 12 hours, but your salary, so you don't really.
Let me tell you, salary is such a trap.
I have a question. Does anybody? Do you ever like? Well, I don't know. The people who do salary, like, do you ever look at how many hours you work and divide it by how much you make, so you can see how much they're paying you hourly?
Yeah.
So you can really feel.
Right. Listen,
so you can really see what this corporation is paying you for your work.
Interesting because in school everyone's shooting for that salary position, that salary job, and then you get in there and you're like, this is way more than 40 hours, and this is not enough.
Yeah,
you know. So
and I think that was some of my motivation, because I think I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was like, hey, like, if you're getting $30 an hour, you got to understand that the company's making at least $100 off your labor, right? So I'm like, what? I'm sitting here busting my butt and I'm only getting like $30 an hour. Like, how could we make it 100? So I'm like,
that's crazy.
How then do I sort of get to a place where I can control my income, and whatever money I'm making is based off my hard work and not based on somebody's arbitrary like standards, right?
Or what someone thinks you're worth, or like what someone is willing to pay you, you know, for your work. So that's great. So how did Vestein come about? And then tell us a little bit about the school and KaiFlex.
Yeah, so Vestein came about, one of my buddies that, you know, I've known since middle school. So we grew up together, you know, and I think it's very important that you always keep good friends that challenges you, that pushes you to always like get the best out of yourself. So, so like since middle school, he would come to my house. We always talk about, hey, we want to do something big. Like we always talk about ideas about starting a company. And even in middle school and high school, we used to sell stuff on eBay, sell stuff on.
Oh, y'all were hustlers.
Yeah, so we was hustlers. Like we used to sell fake Adobes on eBay and we used to make a lot of, like, even in high school, I was making like $3,000-$4,000 a month as a high school student, right?
Wow.
So
I would have definitely.
Josh was getting money this whole time,
right?
It came from my friend. He was he's very ambitious. Like, hey, let's find ways to make money. Let's find ways to, like, you know, improve our circumstances. Because we knew that our parents, they could do as much as they could. They could, right? So you can't really rely on them to get you the new pair of J's.
Actually, they got us here. Yeah. They got us here.
Yeah, so that was the part.
Yeah. That was their goal.
Yeah.
So
I understood that. So from there, he was.
And by here you mean America. Yeah, they're immigrants. Our parents are immigrants. So
I'm an immigrant.
They brought us here to the States.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in high school, we also started to get more into stocks. So he's very big in the financial thing. He's always trying to find ways to make money. So he talked to me about stocks and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And I started a Motif account. So Motif is a exchange where you can go and use to buy different stocks, right? But the cool thing about Motif is that on that platform, people have already created a portfolio for you. So you can just buy an already created portfolio. You don't have to sit there and go through and do the research of, okay, should I buy Coke? Should I buy Amazon? People have already created a portfolio for you where you can just buy. So somebody that's probably starting out in stocks that doesn't want to do all the legwork, you can go on Motif and start looking at the different portfolios and see which ones you like. And usually when you buy it, it's a bundle of different index. So it's pretty good from that sense that you don't have to do all the research. So we started buying some of that, invested a little bit of money, and then when I graduated college, so I was in the investment club. I was doing a lot of things related to the financial industry and stuff like that. And then when I graduated, he came to me. He was like, hey, I found this like booming market. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, found this market called the cryptocurrency market. And he was like, I think it's the next big thing. We got to get some money in there. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about, man?
Oh my goodness. I mean, how long have you been doing that, the crypto? Because I feel like
he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, so the crypto, I've been there, since I graduated to 2015. Yeah, so around 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he came and talked to me about it. I was excited. I was like, all right. And that time I just graduated. I didn't have that much money, but I put like $2,000 in there, and over like less than like 3 months, that $2,000 like blew up to like $20,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, I think we have to like start like thinking about ways to
make this happen again.
Think about ways to like really like,
yo,
I know. That would be me. I'll be calling you like Ashley.
Right.
So from there it was like, oh, how can we like start a company where we can help people and teach people how to like learn more about the financial industry, not just cryptocurrency but stocks, and you know, and we started to sit there and plan like, you know, this is money that we made not really doing anything. We just invested in something, and then, you know, it created a multiplicity effect, right? So it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. And when you look in our community, a dollar's hard to come by. So if somebody can invest $2,000 and make $20,000, that changes their whole life.
Your
right?
whole life.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, let's start learning more about this industry, and let's sit down and go talk to the right people and see if we could start a company where we can then help and educate people as well as invest for them and create portfolios for them and help them build some wealth.
Oh, you investing for people?
Yeah. So
Josh, before we get too far
middle school
in the conversation, Josh, I wasn't ready then when you were trying to get me to But I'm ready now.
She ready now.
I'm ready now.
Let me tell
I
you
wasn't
something.
ready then.
I'm ready now too.
You ready now?
Absolutely.
All right, no
Yeah,
problem.
I'm ready, Josh.
So you've been investing since middle school, is what I'm understanding.
So I've been investing since high school.
High school,
Yeah.
but you've been making money since middle school.
Yeah.
Okay.
From other.
I'll trust
yeah.
my money with you for
From
sure.
from other means.
So if people wanted to contact Vestein, would they go to your website?
Yeah. So the website is www.vestein.com. But you can also contact me through my phone number, 614-271-2504. Or email me at Vestein Investment Group at gmail.com. And then I'll reach back out to you.
Okay, what is that? Go ahead and spell it. I'm trying to get you to plug this real quick.
All
Is
right.
it VES?
She don't know how to spell it because we on YouTube now. We're on YouTube now, so we're just
some
gonna
people's
add
site
it.
might still be
His
listening
website
via
might be
podcast.
below.
Yeah.
It might be above.
I'm thinking about our people listening us to Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about.
I see.
So it's Vestein, Vestein Investment Group
Okay.
at Gmail.
At gmail.com.
.com,
Okay.
yeah.
So the school,
Yes.
how did you get
That
into?
is so cool, by the way.
So tell us how you got into the school and why you chose Ghana.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so the school was sort of an idea that got birthed from my dad. So my dad was trying to help a friend of his that had a school, but they got into some legal situation, and then their school got taken away. And then my dad came to me like, hey, like, it's always been a desire of mine to start a school. And I'm like, okay, then let me sort of figure out how we can make this work. So he came to me, we sat there, talked. I went to talk to some people. I knew some friends that were in the educational field. I went to talk to them about how do we sort of set up a school that can be beneficial to the kids in Ghana, because I think the difference between a lot of third world countries and the US or the first world countries are sort of the way that they think, right? I think in here, if you go to the right schools, I won't say every school, but if you go to the right schools, you're motivated that, hey, I could change the world. I could do something productive. I can create a business. I can do this. And there are industries set up, or there are things set up for you. There are mentors and all of that. Where in a lot of third world countries, that mindset is not there. Like people, it's like, okay, either.
And the opportunity.
Yeah, the opportunity is not there. And sometimes, like, a lot of people in Ghana think that it's either the government is going to give me a job or I'm just not going to be able to sustain myself.
Right. So I don't want to say like the opportunity is not there, because I just feel like you're saying, it's the mindset. Like if you keep thinking like, oh, I don't have any opportunities. Make your own, And so something may not exist right now, but it might be your responsibility to make it exist. And I feel like you're right. Kids here growing up, they feel like they're able to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think our parents felt like, oh, I can just get up and start a business like we did, you know?
But I do also want to make a point, because in these third world countries, like, the mindset is one thing, but you do also need the opportunity, because in these third world countries, a lot of these government jobs, you have to know somebody. Yes. You know what I mean? Even if you go to school and you get a degree and you get a paper, that doesn't mean you're going to go and work on it just like here. You know what I mean? So that plays into it as well. But if you have the mindset and you have the ambition and you have the desire, because we all have the internet, right? We've seen that we all have the internet. So I think the internet has really just changed the world.
That's why I'm saying, like, at this point, with the way the internet is, you can make money. Yeah. Period. You can make money. I don't care where you are. You can make some money. That's, you know what I mean? That's like, true. If you have some Wi-Fi, you're good. You can make some dollars, okay?
And people there are using the Wi-Fi. They're scheming. That's
right.
What they're doing.
You know what I mean?
Right. The Wi-Fi.
You could really be starting a business. Like, you know what schemers do. You could literally stop the schemers.
Exactly.
The scammers. You could stop these scammers. Yeah. Okay? So, yeah.
So what's the name of the school?
Yeah, so the school is Legacy International.
Nice.
Yeah, so with that, the whole idea was that we wanted to create a school where we can instill that idea that, hey, from an early onset, that, hey, you guys can sort of create a better future for yourself. And so the school sort of built on innovation, getting the kids to think for themselves. It's less a teacher coming on and writing something on the board. It's more hands-on activities, getting them to think, getting them to sort of figure out the world for themselves. Because I think that's the best way to sort of
survive.
Become a holistic person and sort of survive in the world. So.
Yeah.
Your school could change Ghana. That's crazy.
That's what we're trying
It takes one kid.
Yeah, it does take one kid.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. You know what else is something I've thought about, and every time I come across, I know we were joking about our little public school education, but at least in our group, like the group that graduated with us and even the group before us, a lot of us are in education somehow. Yeah. And I thought that's like so interesting how so many of us have become educators. So I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to make a point of that because I mean, you're an educator.
You guys all came out of the same year, the same cohort.
Pretty much. Yeah, I can think of 10 people in our cohort who are in education, and then a couple people in the year before us.
Nice.
Yep. So it's interesting. Cool. Okay, shout out Northland Vikings ain't that bad, you know.
Okay.
Go ahead, play your little crickets now. Go ahead, play your little crickets.
I got you on the crickets. I got you.
But great. That was a great guest host segment. We're excited.
Well, we're not over yet. We're not done yet because you still have Kai Flex to talk about, and I do have questions too, girl.
Oh my God, me! You just got listen.
Take
Go
it
ahead,
over,
Josh. Go ahead.
I'm the structure.
Sorry,
she stayed trying to take my place. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Kai Flex is something new that I'm a part of. Mm-hmm. So that, like I said, the same friend that got me into the investment world, he's the same guy that came to me just less than maybe 4 months ago. It's like, hey, I really have this cool idea about experiences, and sort of connecting individuals that are seeking experiences, like sort of food, authentic experiences like that, connecting them, building a platform that connect them to hosts that are willing to provide that experiences. So let's say, you could probably go to a restaurant and eat a Chinese food, right? But it's different than sort of eating a Chinese food prepared by a Chinese individual. That authentic feeling, that authentic, interaction.
So like they will have their place ready, like they will open their kitchen in their home.
So that with the way that the experience is being sort of thought out, it's more they can cook the food and you can pick it up or deliver it, or they have the dining option where somebody can open up their house and you can come and dine with them.
That's
sort
genius.
of experience, right? So right now we are building a platform. We should be able to do the beta testing probably in the next 3 or 4 months. But that's where so it's like food and also on-demand services. So people that want to get a haircut in their home without going to the barbershop, you have a professional barber come to your home, give you a nice cut. Maybe you want a massage, but you want it in your house. You want your hair braided, but in your house, you have that sort of personalized service. Somebody coming into your house providing you that service.
I was also thinking when I was reading that, I was also thinking with traveling, like getting your hair done, getting a haircut is so hard for you to get it from somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah. So that's really cool. Yeah. So that's exciting.
So we're trying to get it, at least get the beta testing done and see how that goes and do the alpha testing and then try to raise some funds and see if we can get the platform built and put it on the market.
If you need a couple Haitians, we know some. Some Haitian food.
We definitely need all of that. Right.
That's what's up. Okay. Well, I had some questions outside of just, you explaining your business. I wanted to know if there are some things in your industry that you feel like is lacking for minorities, like just in the financial industry, based off of the studies that you have done. Like what are some of the findings that you found that are like super interesting that people don't really know about?
Yeah, I think, like if you look at even like buying like stocks, right? Stocks over time, you gain a profit margin. So what happens is, I think, and that's something in the minority community that sometimes because we are in a deprived situation, it's hard to sort of see the future, right? So
we're not thinking about it.
Yeah, so I have this $100 today. If I buy a stock each month and continue to accumulate this stock, maybe in 10 years from now I could probably have like $100,000 with the multiplicity effect that could be an effect of maybe $200,000-$300,000, right? But I might go I'm like, this $100 is not no money, so I'm just gonna go spend it on going out, buying a shoe or whatever. But if you sat there and calculated how much that $100 it could create like a tenfold for you if you sat there and sort of thought through, okay, this $100, if I save it each month, at the end of the year, that's what, $1,200, 10 years, that's, you know, so you got to break it down in that, you got to break it down in that sense. And when you invest in stocks, it's sort of a long-term benefit. So you're delaying today's pleasure for like tomorrow's like benefit, right? So I think the minority community, what I've sort of saw was that we like gratification immediately. It's like, I want to get this nice shoe. That's cool. But 10 years from now, that shoe is going to be, destroyed, right? It's going to be trash. Right. So,
but who feeds us that rhetoric? These corporations. Yeah. These industries.
The same ones trying to say Black Lives Matter. Please buying. Okay. Keep buying, Black people.
Yo, this podcast going to get us in some heat.
There's a lot going on. But it's true though, right? You know, sometimes we got to be careful what we're feeding ourselves. Like the national media is not trying to uplift Black people. So you got to be conscious about that. And it's like, hey, do I really need that dress? Maybe you do. Sometimes you got to go out and buy it, but do I really need it? Right? Feel good, sometimes you do. But you got to also think about it. Maybe 10 years from now, I might not be in a position to be making the same money. So how do I sort of invest so that 10 years from now, I have something to fall back on if everything sort of crumbles?
Yeah. Man, go ahead.
That's interesting that she asked you that question, because I have, I was waiting until we got into our conversation, but I want to ask your opinion on the statistics that I found.
Okay.
And it's saying, as of 2016, that the white families median net worth is $171,000. Okay, while the Black families is $17,600.
Whoa! Wow.
So what do you think about that?
That's huge.
And why do you think that is? I mean, that's like over $100,000 difference.
Yeah, and I think, first the data could be skewed, but
I'm not a math major.
The data could be skewed, but I think it's sort of relevant. Probably. It's sort of relevant in the sense that when I went to college, a lot of my white buddies were already invested in the stocks, and I had no clue. So this sort of wealth could be from real estate, could be from other assets, and I think
one of our clients was like, or they just got it the old school way. What was it? They inherited it.
Yeah.
He was like, what happened? We were just like, where are you going to get the money? I was like, how are you going to get the money? He was like, oh, the old school way, just inherit it. Oh. It's not old school for us.
It's not old school,
right, that's new school. Right. That's new school for us.
And that's actually true. Some of them inherit it, right?
Yeah.
But you see that, and you also got education come in play too, where a lot of these families are getting educated, and with education, it increase your net worth, right? You're able to make more money if you have a master's or a bachelor's or a doctorate degree. So that also plays a role. I also think our spending habits is also different. Yeah. Where if a Black guy is maybe making $100K, you're gonna see it. He's gonna be riding the new Benz.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna be living the nice life. You're gonna be popping bottles. Where a white guy, some white guys you see it, some you would not. A lot of them you be like, oh, who's this Joe Blow walking down the street?
Right, riding a bike to work every day.
like, who's this guy walking down the street? And you wouldn't think anything until like you talk to him, like, oh wow, this guy's actually well off, right? So I think our behavior patterns are so different, and education plays a role. Behavior pattern, family not having wealth, and to start you off.
To start with,
also plays a role. Jobs also play a role. Where if you look at some of the studies, a lot of these white communities are going to more the tech side where they're getting paid higher wages, where some African Americans or some minority groups are going to fields that maybe don't pay as high wages. That also affects like overall income capacity.
It also, honestly, you said household, right? Are you talking about households? Well, a person is missing in the household. Let's be real. We're always missing somebody in the household. Usually it tends to be the fathers. So it's single mothers, working and it's their income. And a lot of times, with welfare being available, there are a lot of people who are not working and they're just depending on that as well. So if they're considering all of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that plays a huge role.
It plays a huge factor. Into it.
But
so.
I do have a question though. So Black people in general, I just feel like we're a flashy people in general.
Yeah. I think we're
like that is just
yeah. We like to show off.
So
we like to
show that we're doing well. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that is something that is embedded in our culture, not just here in America, but in Africa.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, we like to show we're doing well.
We like to, yeah.
What is that about though? Is that royalty in the blood? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It could be. It could be that we also have a lot of insecurities that we also want people to know that, hey, because if you got money,
he was like, it could be that, but it could also be
insecurities. Just went all the way
But if you
to
got
the other
money,
side.
you don't have to show it.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't have to flaunt it.
You're absolutely
You
right.
don't really have to. But
Yeah.
if you're showing it, then you're showing it to other people to show them like, hey, look at me, like I'm well
You know
off.
what I actually think it stems back to? I think it's, at least for here, I'm going to talk about America. I think it stems back to that kind of, in slavery times, like the Black person who was maybe a little bit better than the person in the field. They were kind of like held on a higher regard and a higher pedestal, and then us kind of seeing that. And then too, we were looking at our captors, what did they have? So once we have the opportunity to have what they had, because
we do it in excess.
We do it in excess because we're trying to. That's us trying to. I think it is an insecurity because we're trying to say like we can do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's like, but who are they even modeling though? Because it's like like the Black people here in America who are making money. Who are making money. Who are making like a lot. Like the Oprahs. Like this is the first for here in America. Like the first people who are making that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Oprah is not flashy. Well, yeah, she is actually
a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like it's nothing wrong.
No,
with
I don't
flashy.
think there's anything wrong with being flashy. I'm just wondering, like, who are we modeling?
Yeah.
I feel like it really does just come from us.
Yeah.
Because when you see, like you said, when you see rich white people, they're not driving around in Ferraris and Bugattis and Rolls Royces. Like they're not doing that. Like, so like, where are we getting that from? Like, cause usually like, I know, when you're waiting to get there, like, I can't wait to make it. When I make it, I'm going to be like this person. So it's like, who are you modeling?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think, just talking, I don't know who they're modeling, but I do.
I think it's in our blood.
I think it's in
to
our
just
blood.
be flashy. We just like to show out.
And I feel like it's also dependent, like
on the person.
Yeah,
as
for
well.
me, like I could go out to like a nice restaurant, spend like $200 or something like that, but that's money I've designated, right? Or that's maybe like profits that I've made. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take like this and just blow it, but. I won't take money that I'm using to do something else.
Like
right?
your rent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
like important, right?
So you got to sort of separate that. Like you can buy a Range Rover if you want, but let it be money that you've either made it in profits or money that you don't need, right?
Yeah.
So and I think that's where like investing comes in play, where you can, if with the 20K I made, the only money that was mine was like $2K. So the rest of them was like profit. If I chose to go buy like a $10,000 car or something like that, it's not money that I worked or sweated for. So it's like more,
better
you could do that. You don't necessarily have to do it. You can reinvest and do other stuff. But I'm saying that don't let it be money that you sort of need, and you're spending it as a way of like showing somebody else like, hey, look at me, I'm like doing better than you.
Yeah, like it's not money that you're losing.
Yeah,
because otherwise, where else? Where would you? It's not like you're going into your savings and taking this money out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I did have another question. You mentioned in what you sent us, you mentioned having an eventful entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
So within like your journey, what are some like lessons? And I know you say you enjoy being challenged by those events.
Yeah.
What are some lessons that you've learned?
Yeah, so some of the big lessons I've learned is sort of, especially in the investment sector, is sort of be patient, right? So, for example, like I told you guys, like I made a lot of money when I came into the industry, but the industry also took a big dive, and when it took a big dive at that time, we had over like maybe $200,000-$300,000 of individuals' money that we were investing for, right? So when the market took a big dive, our investors started panicking, like, what are these guys doing? Like, do they know what they're doing? Like, because like I said, we have a strong attachment to money and it means a lot to us. So going through that roller coaster, learning about how to create understand a customer service, right? Being able to understand how I can explain to the clients that we have what's actually going on in the market, talking to them in a manner where they understood what's really going on and not using jargon that was confusing to them, being able to, and a lot of our investors stayed around with us and they're still around today. And now that we're making we're turning over a lot of profits for them. But that time was very scary because you have $300K of people's money and the return came in the initial beginning. They were making a lot of money. Everybody was happy. Right. People were calling you they want to take you out. But then the market took a dive
you're not.
What's going on? So that was a big challenge that I just had to learn. I have to be patient, stick it out. Things do turn around, and as time when the market turned around, you started making profit again. But that time was very scary for me. So big thing is just patience. Always staying patient, always staying true to my convictions and what I believe in. This is the reason why I picked this, and I've done extensive research, so I know that it's not BS, right? So just staying true to my convictions and being patient.
Did you lose clients because of?
Yeah, we lost some clients.
Yeah, because of it.
Yeah, a funny thing was even my mom. So my mom had invested with us, and when the market took a dive, she's like, "I need my money now," and she was hounding me. So I just okay, I'm just gonna give you the money.
Right.
I'm like, man,
sounds like something my
mom can betray you.
Right. No. Well, did you have a question? I saw you were about to say something. I do have one last question after that.
Go ahead and ask your question because I feel like my question is going to be a
subject changer.
No, it's the same subject, but
okay. Okay, all right. Well, so my question is, what have you had any challenges being Black while doing business? Do you feel like it not hinders you, but have you seen? I don't know how to explain. Do people have trouble trusting you, or do they question or try to, get more credentials from you because they see that you're a Black entrepreneur?
Yeah, and especially with money,
yeah,
there's, in the beginning we were young, college graduate.
Yeah.
People like what do these guys know?
Yeah.
Right, and there's certain friend groups that they didn't want to entrust their money with me. I had one of my white buddies. He wanted me to get he wanted me to write a 5-page thing just explaining what I'm gonna do with his money, and it's and I mean he was bringing it 10,000, so I mean I could understand, but he just was doing a lot, and I'm like, why are you sort of doing this? But I could understand maybe sensitivity to his money, but could also be hey, I don't really trust this guy. Maybe I don't really trust me because I'm Black, or he doesn't really trust me because he doesn't know. But there could be other factors. But I saw people that no, not for me, because I'm Black, maybe because of other things. But I saw that a lot in the initial stage, trying to raise money, trying to get investors. It was difficult, but just we just kept that positive attitude. Hey, even if we get one person, that's fine, and we can start from there and keep building.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So you have an investment firm that specializes in cryptocurrency and stocks. Okay. So how do you feel about? Because I think money, like you said, is a soft point for all of us, right? Everyone's vulnerable about their money because we all work hard for our money, right? So people who are, because a lot of times I see a lot of people trying to educate people about stocks and Forex and trading and all of those things. But really it's in a network marketing type of trap pyramid scheme, or it's really just selling a dream. So how do you feel about, because I've seen a lot of people, and I've also had some people try to get me into it. I'm like, listen, hey, I don't I take risks, but I don't gamble. So how do you feel when you see things like that, when people are just because trading, from what I know, because I did try to get into it years ago, but it's a skill. It's a skill, and people dedicate time, like hours upon hours of learning the market and learning, you know, whatever there is to learn. So how do you feel about people who are like, you, everyday average Joe, can come and make $10,000 a month, you know, with Forex and very little training, you know, just put this much money and then that's it, right? But because me, I'm the network marketer trying to get you to put your money into this. Once you put your money, I've filled my quota, or I've did whatever I needed to do in order for me to get paid, and then from there I'm like MIA. How do you feel about those type of people?
Yeah, I think you got to be careful. There's a lot of people that are trying to, you know, they're scammers, so you have to be careful. And I think
scammers.
Yeah, there's a lot of scammers that are going around. And I think it's like with trading, it is a skill, and an average Joe is going to come in and they're going to lose your money. It's just what it is, because you know, the people that are making a lot of money, they have lost a lot of money before they made them big $1 million, right? And they won't tell you that story. Yeah, that it takes at least a year or two for the learning curve. There's a learning curve that takes that a year or two. So you coming in, an average Joe, thinking that, okay, maybe I'm in Forex, I'm gonna buy some currencies, and then I'm gonna make it big. It's not reality. It's not gonna happen. But if you take the time, right, learn, you know, the behaviors of these currencies, learn the behaviors of the market, do in-depth research, and you really hone in the skill of understanding patience, how things work, yeah, you could probably make that money. But don't come in thinking that, hey, I could take $5,000 and then become a millionaire overnight, because it's not reality. It's really not reality. So I think these people are sort of playing with people's emotions, and they know that they don't really know what's going on,
right?
So
and I feel like there's a special place for these people, because I feel like that is messed up. Like, you're selling people this dream of like, you can make X amount of money. I learned how to do it in 3 months. Like, no, people really go to school for this, you know? Yeah. So I wanted to know how you felt about those people who do those
people
things.
should know, at the same time, people should know that people scam for full time, like 9 to 5.
Period. Yeah, okay? People scam full time.
So if you are going to join something, you have to do your research. And honestly, it's so simple to just look up a review. On these things, you know what I mean?
It's simple to look up a review, but I think
it's important that people, like, you know, steer clear of those kind of fast money making. I don't think you can make money fast unless
you're doing some questionable things.
It's like, hey, I can make a
right.
meal.
Listen,
hey, why not?
If you tell me I can make $1 million a month,
I won't trust you.
I'm just kidding.
I will not trust that at all.
Trust you, yeah. I won't trust
not
you.
at all.
I'm like, nah, it don't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Really?
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Next thing you know, they're looking for an organ. Like, no. Like, just give us a kidney.
Yeah. Or like, they're telling you didn't read the fine print somewhere. Like, no, I don't have time for that. So, what would you say is one of the first steps so let's say before someone gets into investing, right? Because that might be, you know, next level for somebody. But like, what would you say would be the first step in becoming financially, what's the first step in educating yourself personally for your personal finances?
Yeah, I think the first step is sort of sitting down and doing a budget, like figuring out, what am I spending my money on, right? You got to know what you're spending your money on. If it was a $5, you know, coffee each morning or whatever, figure out how much am I spending my money on this, that, and then it gives you like a reality check, like, oh wow, I'm actually spending a whole lot of money on this that I didn't need to. And then from there, then figure out like a strategy. So something that I learned from a guy, he was a VP of Huntington, and he was telling me, like, you know, the first thing you got to do is actually take out your savings before you even pay your bills. So most people, what they do is they pay their bills, they pay everything, and then whatever's left, they
put
save,
into their savings.
Right?
Yeah.
So you say designate the amount of money that you want to save each month, regardless of whatever happens, you're saving that money, and then, you know, pay your other bills, and that you actually save more.
Oh wow!
Right, because if you're just gonna save what is left, you're probably gonna buy a bunch of different things, and at the end of the day, save less. So
nothing will be left.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Like, do a budget, designate a specific amount to save, just for your personal finance, and then keep up with it, right? And try to make it a habit.
Okay.
Right.
Do you find that a lot of people like do you do budgets with people?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done budget with
like, do people dread it? Because like for me, low key, you know how
Budgets
people
are
dread the
hard.
dentist and the doctor's office? Like, I low key dread that too. Honestly, because of like my student loans, because I'm just like, I need that to go away. And I need it to disappear. That's the reparations that I'm waiting for.
You're waiting for? That would be fantastic, would it?
No, I'm waiting for that. That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen?
Yeah.
All right. We're all waiting.
Right.
You don't think we're getting reparations? Not even a little bit?
I doubt it.
What? With all this Black Lives Matter stuff? No?
I doubt it. That's
No.
I don't think the reparations are going to come in the forms that are beneficial to us.
You think
What?
it'll come?
It's going to come in form that is beneficial to
Do I think
them.
it will come? I do think it's going to come. Because I think it's something that people have been talking about.
Okay.
I've been hearing the word reparations in the
Right,
news
but I
and
don't think
out
we
of
would
people's
get it.
mouths.
Yeah.
I don't think we would get it.
I don't know, because I mean, if the NBA decides to go ahead and never play until we get our reparations.
Right, but I'm saying I don't
If
think
a couple
we
people do
would
that.
get it. They would probably try to trace. I don't think I would get reparations because my family lineage I wasn't even born here.
No, period.
So-
No, for being Black in this country, going to public education in this country. No.
The public education.
You need to go ahead and no. And then not only that, turns out our education is not even worth what they charged us. Give us our money back. Go ahead and pay off my student loans.
Right, it's not worth
No.
it. Like literally everything. Like you can learn anything on YouTube and Google now. Yeah.
No, but they've been upping the price of education. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about this. They've been upping the price of education without upping the quality. They're just charging us more for the same thing. For actually, you know what? And then our education is a lie on top of that.
It's all a lie.
They're
It's a
teaching us
lie.
lies.
Listen, so we're just dismantling all of the industries. We're challenging all of the industries. So, I mean, there's a lot of holes and a lot of things about this country that we could really be on this episode all
Listen,
day.
your segment was great. Even though it's crickets, even though I feel like you taught us a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
like, yeah.
much.
No problem. Thank you.
So now we're moving on into our rating segment. So usually we'll talk about our ashes first. You watch our show, right?
Okay.
I'm listening to it.
We need to make that a requirement for our guest host.
Right, you
listen
must
to it.
watch or listen
right.
before you just show up. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but so we're gonna talk about our ashes first, which for here ashes are the negative parts of your industry. So usually we'll do like 2 to 3 of them. So do you have any negative things about the industry that you want to touch on?
Yeah, I think some of the negative is just not making the information accessible to minority communities. So I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of my buddies from like middle school, they already had the information, so they had the upper hand on me. So I think, and that also ties back into education. Like our education system, middle school should be teaching kids about the stock market. Should be teaching them.
They should be, right?
Yeah, they should be teaching them about personal finance, right? They should be teaching them these skill sets that high school, at least they can start. In high school, if you're cutting grass, you can start at least investing some money in the market or saving, so that by college, after you graduate, you have a little bit more insight.
Yeah, those things are important. When they took away home ec, like I took a small business class in high school, and I was just like, okay, this is doable.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I think they should start with that. I think in 6th grade they taught us how to write a check, and then that was it. That was the last thing that I remember as far as like finances.
Any other negatives that you have?
I think creating spaces within the financial industry for more African Americans or more minority groups to come in. So I think now you see a lot of different Black investors starting, either investment groups or you starting different groups to educate people. I think we need to make it more widespread, going to minority communities, just teaching them about how they can better their economic means.
Do you feel like people are starting these groups? Because I know you said you worked at U.S. Bank. Do you feel like did you kind of, was part of your why you started your investment group, did you feel like there wasn't a space for you in the financial industry?
Not necessarily, because I started my company because of the cryptocurrency. It was just a new market, and I thought it was a new space where I could sort of penetrate and make some money. So it wasn't something that, and there wasn't a lot of cryptocurrency investment firms. There's still not that many, and especially there wasn't any black ones. So that's why I entered the market. I saw that there was a gateway where we can educate people on that. But I think on the stock market, even though it's known, like, oh, you might hear about the stock market, a lot of people also don't understand it. So they know, okay, what you ask me, what's the stock?
That's for me. I have a hard time understanding.
Like, what does that mean? So just helping people just understand what it means, because the jargon seems complicated, but it's actually not. Yeah. Right. So just making it. And I think they do it on purpose, make it so complicated. Like if you watch a financial show, they're talking about this and that. You're like,
and then they all these abbreviations, FFAPP and ILH, and like, what are all these acronyms?
You're like what? What are you talking about? But then you like sit down and it's like, oh, okay, you're just talking about, it's just maybe as like a ticker symbol for what the stock is. Yeah. It's making it sound so sophisticated that it excludes certain people.
Absolutely.
If you don't understand what this ticker symbol means, you're like, okay, I'm not listening to this.
Right. I mean, you lost me.
Even like 401k, I didn't even know that was like a whole stock exchange. Who is explaining this?
Yeah.
Who is telling?
Don't know that the 401k is
that they're actually just taking your money and investing in stock market. Right. You could be doing that for yourself.
And not telling you whether you're losing or, you know what I'm saying? So,
and then you're paying somebody commissions and all of that. And it adds up. So.
Yeah. Wow. Are those all your ashes? You touched on a couple. You actually touched on a couple of the ones that I talked about. So just even like it being intimidating and like not being accessible to people. Like even I'm very intimidated by it. Every time somebody starts talking to me about stocks, I'm just like, and it's just going over my head. I know I need to sit down and just like have somebody explain it to me, or just take one course and then I can pick up on it, but it's very intimidating, and I feel like it's something additional for me to learn on top of all of the other things that I'm doing. Like just being an entrepreneur by itself, we're just wearing so many hats that I don't feel like I have time to sit down and learn something new and then trade for myself on top of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when?
Open your account and watch don't you gotta like watch it all the time? Like, you don't have time for that.
Not necessarily. You don't have to watch it all the time, but
you see, I'm ignorant to the
So that's one of my ashes, and then the other one was that we weren't taught it sooner. I wish it was, like you said, I wish it was included in our education, or just like, why is not like basic life living? Why is that not part of our education? Especially since you guys have our parents working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. Like they don't have time to come and teach us how to trade stocks.
Yeah. But do you think it's done on purpose though?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Come on, stop it.
Absolutely.
We in America.
Absolutely. And that's why they need to go ahead and pay our student loans. Moving on.
Okay. Yes. That's why we need to pay our student loans and bring our interest rates down and our loan amount up. Anyway, my ash, I think both of you kind of touched upon some of my ashes, but one ash that I feel like we weren't taught, I feel like for us, we were taught that education degree gives you money, but actually money makes money, right? So why don't we talk about that? Like, you spending all of this money on this degree, how is that going to turn around and give it? We think the degree, we're then going to go and get a job, and that job is going to give us money. Yes. But look at how many people with degrees are sitting at home jobless, you know?
Debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they're still harassing people for.
Yes. Right.
Hey, somebody please pay Ashley.
Right. Somebody come and just sign a check for her student loans. Yeah. Like, come on. But no, they're calling you like, is there a reason why you can't pay this bill? COVID. Where are you? COVID is the reason. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that, money makes money, and we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
I think another ash is, especially in the Black community, I'm gonna have to bring it back. I'm gonna bring it to the church.
Ooh,
I'm gonna have to bring it to the church. No,
here she go.
There was such a Black churches, right? There's such an emphasis on tithes and offerings and how the church needs money, but the church is really asking a bunch of people who don't have the money to give them the money, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like
literally saying they're saving their spot in heaven.
Listen, that's another episode in another industry, but I'm just tying this into our Black finances. Okay. But yeah, I think that is a trap. That whole first of all, okay, I think that's a problem that we weren't taught to build upon, that community building, community wealth is not a thing for us. I feel like that's okay, here's my point. I be losing my point sometimes. My point is that in the church, right, they ask you for the tithes every time they trying to build something or buy something. They got something passing around, but then when it comes to you individually in the pursuit of money, it's like, oh, the root of all evil is
money,
the love of money or whatever. Yeah. I mean, they use it to their benefit when they can, corporations. Yeah. But I feel like I feel like the issues in the relationship that we have with money stem from some of those prior beliefs. Yeah. Because if you don't have money, you can't survive. Mm-hmm. You can't exist. I feel like we didn't put the emphasis on the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah. Right. But I need money for my life in order to survive in this society. So I would say that that's a major ash right there. Mm-hmm. Right there.
So the church is taking tithes and offering?
No, I'm saying my point is that our communities that get us from childhood to adulthood is not investing in us. They're not investing in us. You know what I mean?
I do feel like the church is also a place where, financial literacy
a lot of money goes into the Black church.
Yeah.
There should be classes where you're teaching your members, okay, some churches don't even break down where all of the money is going. You get what I'm saying? So I'm giving you 10% of my income and what?
Flying a private jet
exactly
into church this morning.
Right. So, those are the mega churches, but I feel like our community, our relationship with money is so messed up, that it's just where do we even begin? Because money used to pay for us. You know what I'm saying? We were bought with money. So it's just, there's so many layers and levels. Mm-hmm. But I do think that the number one issue is that we're just not educated on how money works. I know me personally, it's as I was growing up, credit and stuff, it's now that I'm really looking at what I want in my life, I'm okay, let me seek out the knowledge for myself. Mm-hmm. But really, I should have been set up with it, because if I'm graduating high school and I'm quote unquote an adult, but I don't know how to pay my bills, which is the first step of adulthood. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not helping me. So, but these white kids get a $30,000 deposit for their 18th birthday on their first house. So that's the difference in I think our communities. So those are my ashes.
And I think I wanted to touch on the first point. Mm-hmm. Money do make money, and I think that there's a false equivalence with education and money, right? And I think even if you go get a master's and you make $100,000, you most likely are spending $100,000 or more to get that degree, right? Yeah. Now, if let's say I'm a plumber and I make $60,000, maybe I went to a 3-month certification program and I got that. Maybe
you spent $1,200. Right?
Yeah. Maybe less. Now, if I'm smart, and even if we're just working a daycare or whatever, and you're making $10, if you're smart about how you save your money and how you invest, you can be well off than somebody with a master's degree.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think
you're probably better off because they're in the negative.
You don't have the debt, you don't have other things. So you have to be education doesn't always mean you're gonna be better off, right? And I think
you just know more.
Yeah, and
That's not what the commercial said, though.
That's not what the commercial said.
Or our high school counselors.
Or our parents.
And sometimes we just don't know.
We just don't know. We just didn't know,
We
you
just
know.
don't know.
Yeah, but I would say my mom, she's a saver extraordinaire. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to say that on air. But I know that she's been saving and that's something that she's always like, I got here because of the way that I was able to save, not because of, any other thing. So,
yeah.
What are your ashes?
I already said my ashes, actually.
Oh.
So we are moving on to our roses. She's stay trying to take over my job. Like, stay in your job, bro. I'll stay in mine. Okay, so the roses are, the positives that are within your industry. Do you have any positives?
I think the positive in the investment industry is just this unlimited amount of income that you can make, right? So, like, just to piggyback on your point,
Unlimited.
Like, yeah, I mean, you can make a lot of money. So if you're able to trade well or you're able to invest well, probably later on down the line you can be well off, maybe having a few millions, be able to retire early. So for me, like, my goal, maybe the next five years,
is to retire.
I mean, right now, the life that I live is sort of like a retired person. I can do
Ooh, Josh, we gotta. I was just thinking. I was like, yo, we gotta hang out with Josh more.
He need to give him a little sound effect for that there.
What sound effect?
Give me something. I don't know. What he said? He said he already living like he retired.
Oh, no.
You laughing at him?
I'm sorry, I don't have the ones memorized. I don't have them memorized.
It's all good.
Yeah, like.
But wow, okay, so you're living like you're retired.
Yeah, because like I make. The money I make each month. I won't say the amount, but the money I make each month,
okay,
it's enough to take care of what I need, right? And enough to take care of whatever. So because I'm in an industry where I can dictate how much I make, I can make anywhere from, let's say, 5,000 to anywhere from like 100,000 to 200,000 a month, depending on how much I'm making and how much I'm investing. Because I also make money off investing for other people and all of that. So I have a limited range. So that's the good beauty of this market, that you can make a lot of money, but so you being able to sort of understand that money can work for you, and you don't always have to chase money. You can be in a position where you can make money. It's something that this industry sort of offers people. And
this is what you teach in your within your business, your investment group.
I teach that to people.
Okay.
And then I also invest for people. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Okay, Josh, I'm very impressed.
Okay, Northland High School, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. We're just gonna keep plugging in, like, listen, they didn't.
And I'm just gonna keep every time you want to bring up your Vikings.
We're giving them too much credit. Actually, I'm giving them way too much credit.
They don't deserve no credit.
Right.
I don't know what they did.
Okay,
Actually,
so
Dr.
was that
Brown,
one? Was that one rose?
Yeah. So that and I think that the industry now, especially the cryptocurrency industry now, it's such a young market that there's so much opportunities in it. So I would say anybody that's out there that want to learn about cryptocurrency, there's two things you're probably going to get scared of with what goes on in the media. Maybe you go online, try to learn about it, people are getting scammed, all of that. But if you do diligent research, and you can reach out to me and then we can talk or whatever, but you can do diligent research, and there's a lot of good cryptocurrencies that you can buy now. Even in the stock market now, there's a lot of good companies that have dropped because of what's going on with COVID, that you can buy that in the near future. You make a lot of money.
Nice.
So there's a lot of.
We need an appointment.
Yeah.
ASAP. Okay, what about you? You got some roses?
Yeah, my rose is money makes money.
Okay, there you go.
No, seriously, money does make money when you learn how to. I think for me, like, just learning, just with our business and creating different businesses. Like, I'm not in the finance industry, but just learning, like, the investments that I make over here can then support other goals and other, projects that I have that can continue to make money. So, just the reinvestment, investments don't always need to look like you buying stock or like cryptocurrency, you know what I mean? But the time that I invest into learning the skills that I'm learning in order to build my personal businesses and things, like that's making me money, you know? So that would be my roles. I would say another role is that like, financial freedom, I do think is just like, I think it's what, I think that when we were created, right, we were created with everything that we needed to survive. But then we came in with our brains and stuff and was like, well, your value and your worth is less because you don't have X amount of dollars in your bank account or whatever. And I feel like financial freedom gives you the ability to live the life that you want to live and not dictated by, you can live in this country, but you don't have to be dictated by the rules that this country sets forward if you have the means to, take care of yourself. So I feel like that's important. And I think too, I want to make the point that financial freedom doesn't necessarily look like $50 million. It looks like you being comfortable.
It looks like Josh.
There you go. It looks like Josh. It looks like Josh, y'all. It looks like, thank you. That was great. You too can be retired.
Right. That's exactly what I'm seeing. I'm like, I can't wait to have a conversation here.
27.
Okay, Josh. That's impressive. Okay. So what else were we?
Those are my roses.
Those are all your roses. I want to add to what you're saying as far as like financial freedom goes. For me, like what I envision, it's like we talked about being present and having memories and building memories. At the end of the day, like that's where that's priceless. You cannot put money on that. And time again, I've had like situations or like, whether it's a celebration or we're just, all going to a water park or we're all going here or whatever. And some people are not able to attend due to money matters. And for me, I'm like, like you don't understand. You're missing out on something that you're going to remember forever, you could remember forever. Not that, those things are, some of those things are excessive and, way too much money. If you can't afford it, I understand. But for me, financial freedom is like, you really shouldn't be dictating how you live your life or missing out on life events. You know what I mean? Like, people are missing like weddings, which to me, I just feel like when we get to celebrate, look at these times. Like, I can't wait to celebrate something, So when you're around and you're celebrating with people and you're laughing with people, like that's priceless. You get those pictures, that's priceless because when you're 90, those are the pictures that you have to look back on and those memories to think back on. So for me, that's why financial freedom is very important because I don't want to be limited as to what I can do
with your family and
with my family, with my life period. But roses for me, one thing that I put down was that opportunities feel endless, which you kind of mentioned too. Like you can make money. I just love that you could just make money any way, anyhow nowadays. Like seriously, like Uber and Fiverr, like all these different little apps. Like I don't feel like if you want to make money, you can. You don't have to work for somebody. You can literally
you can leverage
start
your
working
skills
for yourself. With the right budgeting or whatever. Like you can start off on something like Fiverr where you freelance whatever you're good at, or you can learn something,
for free.
Yeah, you can learn something. People are creating PowerPoints and getting paid on there. Like you can learn anything and go ahead and freelance that work. Wow. The editing that we're doing for this podcast, oh my gosh, I'm ready to pay somebody to do it, but now I'm hearing you with their budgeting. I should probably keep doing it myself. But for me, the way I think is like, hey, if I get good at this, I'm definitely going to freelance and have somebody pay me to do this too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the opportunities are endless. That's a rose for me. The other one is, it's becoming more accessible to people. Money is becoming more accessible because of these apps and then more Black finance educators like yourself, Josh. I feel like seeing more of you guys is making me feel like more people are going to feel like it's something that they can attain to. Yeah. You being here, you being this tangible to us makes me feel like, yes, like I could be retired like you too at 27. So probably not 27 anymore. I'm 27 now, but can't retire this year.
But so maybe in the next 5 years.
But maybe, a couple years working with you and your finance group, maybe I can. So those are all my roses.
Those are your roses?
Yes.
Ooh, so Josh, what kind of entrepreneur would you consider yourself?
Yeah, for me, I would say I'm an innovator.
An innovator?
Yeah, so I'm always, like, if you, like, with my experience, I'm in finance, but I'm also in education. I'm also right now we're starting a tech company. So I just love solving problems. So I'm always thinking about new ways to do stuff. New ways to solve a problem. So she
probably dancing on the inside because
really?
I love solving problems too. I stay solving people's problems even when they don't ask me to.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. So I'm always thinking about new ways to do stuff and new ways, either interesting ways or unique ways to solve problems. Yeah, so I'll say innovator.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you just came and educated us with your innovation. So yes. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
definitely
guys.
appreciate it. And we hope that everyone who's listening or watching can walk away with something new.
I definitely think they're going to walk away with a lot of information. So thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome.
I had an awesome time.
Oh my goodness, we learned a lot. So the way that we end our show, how do we end our show, Josh, since you watch it or listen to it?
with the quote, right?
Yes.
The quote.
Good job. So we end with a quote. Do you have your quote that you want to share?
All right, hold on.
I guess I'll give mine. I'll go ahead and give mine.
Okay.
This is how I say, I save our guests. So my quote actually is from Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, I love that.
He said, the only reason businesses exist is to make money.
Period.
Period.
Why else are we doing this?
You're not making money.
Huh?
If you're not making money,
then why does it exist?
Yeah. Right. What's the point?
So yes, businesses are here to make money. But at the same time, I feel like it's a scary notion at the same time, because unfortunately, these corporations, going back to what I was saying about the why, sometimes their why is just to make money because, because that's the business's job. It is to make money. But I wonder sometimes, like, how do you balance the two? Like, making sure that your why is still being accomplished, like your vision is still being met, like you're still meeting what your plans were for your vision, and then that your business is still making money. You know what I mean? So I feel like corporations right now are just heavy on the money making side. So they're scamming people into, buying these, the example that you were giving just for the stocks, like learning stocks and stuff like that. People are out here just doing it for the wrong reasons. They're just trying to make the max amount of profit with very little quality of what services that they're providing. So that's my quote of the day.
Ooh, quick question. What do you think about those money circles?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Some of them are good.
Some of them.
Yeah, so some of them. So some groups are they're coming together and they're working together on they're pulling their money together and investing. Some of them they're coming and talking about different either stock options, cryptocurrency options that they should invest in.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm a part of some groups that we do that, but some of them too you got to be careful because with the I think network marketing is a big scheme.
Yeah.
And people have to be careful about
it. So it is network scheme. So it is network marketing because they were trying to say that it's not.
Scheme.
So there's investment groups and there's also network marketing groups. They're kind of different. But some of the investment groups are good, so you just have to do your research, and some of them I think you have to pay a fee to get in. Some of them you don't. So you just do your research and figure out which ones are good for you. But be careful. Not everything is what it seems.
Right.
And not everything is legal.
Yeah.
So you ready to give your quote?
Yeah. So I think my quote was something that I came up with myself.
Yes.
So the quote was essentially saying that. Entrepreneurship is all about the challenges and loving sort of failing and learning from your failures, right? So if you're an individual that likes comfortability, you like having a steady paycheck, you like, being able to, come home and relax, maybe entrepreneurship is not for you. However, if you're a type of person that likes to learn, right? Through failure, you learn how to succeed. So if you're a person that likes learning and not letting failure get you down, but learn from your failures, I think entrepreneurship is the perfect field for you to learn and grow.
Yeah, actually, I like to fail. I literally like to mess up, and I try to avoid being corrected. I don't like being corrected, so I'll try to do my best so that there's nothing to correct. But when I do mess up, I do love what I learned from failing. And sometimes I watch people who like are going through like a hard time and feel like, wow, they're evolving into a different human being at this moment. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's amazing. So yeah, I love that you should make that a quote. You should go ahead and just dash Josh.
Joshua Kumi.
Yeah, Joshua Kumi. There you go.
Okay, so once again, thank you for coming. My quote is from the Godfather.
Oh wow.
Jay-Z.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jay.
Okay. So the quote is, serial entrepreneur, we on our own. Stop sitting around waiting for folks to throw you a bone. If you can't buy the building, at least stock the shelf. Then keep on stacking until you stocking for yourself.
Hey.
So, I think that laid it out. If you got to work a 9 to 5 right now to get to it, but make sure you in there, what's that word? I don't know, y'all. But y'all investigate.
Make sure you're investigating in there, okay? You're watching the way whatever systems work that could work in your business. Find out how it can parallel to the business that you want to run. But honestly, you know what? I think everybody should be an entrepreneur at this point. Don't get me wrong. We still need people to work, right?
Yeah.
But
we still need.
But I think that you should be making some money on the side. One job is clearly not enough.
One job is not enough, of course not. So thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you next Wednesday on Apple, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh, for coming.
Right. Thank you.